A lot of inventions come from inventors observing people around them, watching them struggle and then finding a solution for them. इसलिए आज के एपिसोड में हम ऐसे इन्वेंशंस देखेंगे जो लोगों की मदद करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं.
So before I jump into the idea itself, I'd like to share a quick bit of experience that I've had. So I do like teaching as well. And while I was in Bombay, I have been involved in going to some schools, typically schools where children from underprivileged families come to study. Of course, one notices a lot of issues in those areas, but certain specific ones that caught my attention were, one, that these kids have no interface to technology today. And by the time this kid is going to get a look at his first laptop or his first piece of advanced technology, he's going to be 24, and probably that's the time when he's trying to get his first job, right? And by then, the world has already moved far ahead of the technology that you are looking at. So you're constantly playing a catch-up game. You will never be ahead of the crowd. Could I possibly change that? So one simple thought was, okay, fine, these schools cannot invest in buying laptops and smartphones for every single kid. Can I create a shareable device, a device which can be shared by people and give them the digital experience? How about if I can create a device that can turn any available surface, let's say your teacher's table or your courtyard, into a smart surface? What's a smart surface essentially? A surface that you can give input from and receive output through. So the first thing that I wanted to work on was to create a module to teach geometry and trigonometry to kids. Why I picked these two specifically is because geometry and trigonometry lend themselves to visual representations very easily. So that helps me cross the language barrier much more easily. So that is the reason I wanted to start with mathematics, and this is the device that I've thought of.
How does it work? You're saying it's basically like augmented reality where somebody has to wear something and then interact with geometric shapes, and then what's the functionality?
Okay. So it is augmented reality, yes. Actually, mixed reality would be a more apt term for this.
Okay.
I wanted to avoid any sort of variables.
Okay.
I do not want the kids to have to interact with the device itself.
Okay.
What I want them to interact with is the technology and the experience behind it.
Okay.
So the device, like I said, imagine a table lamp, right? So you have a table lamp kept like this on a surface.
Got it.
Now you have a projector projecting, let's say, a 1 foot by 1 foot area. Now this 1 foot by 1 foot area is a smart surface. Along with this, I provide some control chips. Control chips would be like, let's say, carom dots.
Okay.
So you have these black carom dots. You place 3 of those dots there. The camera can pick up the position of the 3 and calculate the relative space within the space that the projector has created.
Okay.
And thus now I know the centers of each of these. So what my projector does is it projects a triangle connecting the centers of all these 3 dots.
Okay.
Now that I have the triangle, I have all the dimensions of the triangle. I can calculate the perimeter, the area. I can calculate all the angles.
So the child the student would be able to move these markers.
Yes.
And then the projector would essentially highlight the space between it and representing the surface area of that particular object.
Correct. So it could be a triangle, it could be a quadrilateral, it could be a circle, and not just area. I could be talking about any mathematical properties of the shape that has thus been generated.
I really like your idea. If this were to move to the lab stage, I would, for one, I think would be very happy.
हमारी अगली इन्वेंटर नागपुर से है. 20 साल की श्रेया, who wants to help old people relive the joys of their childhood.
My journey in product design actually started about 3 years ago.
Okay.
I had no idea how I was going to do it. All I knew that I would be making things that made human life easier and fun. So the first person I told was my grandmother, and she insisted that I make something for her first. So when I was younger, we used to visit her a lot during festivals, and she used to decorate our home with beautiful rangolis. But then I noticed that she stopped doing it because she started having knee pains, back pains. She couldn't sit on the floor for long periods of time. She couldn't bend. So it made me feel so sad that she couldn't do something that she loved so much. So I decided to take this up as my very first project. So my invention is a Rangoli dispenser that allows the user to make circular Rangoli patterns while standing. So it works something like a compass. It has one leg that rests on the floor. There is an arm suspended to which a bottle is connected that contains the sand. Now, when the lever at the top is pushed down, the sand at the bottom starts dispensing. Now, the entire device can be rotated to form the curve. And now, different kinds of nozzles will give you different kinds of effects, like single line, multiple line, strips. And also, if the device is kept at the same point for a few seconds, the Rangoli that is being dispensed will create small beads. So you can get dotted patterns as well.
How have you been?
Good, man. The pitch was really cool.
Nice. Tell me about your project now.
So it's basically a table lamp sort of a device right? We have this stand happening here, a base. In this base, I'd like to have now a set of batteries maybe, and the processor, etc. Make the base heavy so that it makes sure that the stand is upright always.
Wait a second, that's the base and this is the top, right?
There's the top,
Okay.
right? And here I want to have a camera and a projector. So camera reading the surface here, and here we'll have the markers that we have designed, right? And I have an off-the-shelf projector. For now, I'm thinking I'll just modify the stand to hold the off-market camera and projector as they are.
And the last thing that you want to do is possibly also look at a humanizing factor to it. Think about how you can communicate a language which is a little bit more playful.
Right, make
For
it
the
look
user?
like more like a toy than like a scary device.
Yeah, or something that kids would like to interact with, want to go and touch and feel, and like want to have a conversation with it, want to feel it, that kind of stuff.
That's fair input.
So give it a bit of a character. Let's get started with this. Let's start thinking, and then we'll go into more detail, I think.
Yeah, all right, okay.
Awesome.
So right now I've started working on my project, and there are actually many layers to it. There is a front end or the user interface that I need to build for the kids to be able to understand what they're seeing on the device. I also need to be working on the back end, which is the actual code which is going to be running it. But most importantly, what I'm working on right now is figuring out the hardware. So I designed and quickly put together the core structure of the product.
So the model that I started with basically is one like a pole thing with a handle here. There is one shaft that goes this way. There is the bottle connected to it in this manner. Now this is actually a pipe, it's hollow. And from inside, another shaft comes out this way on which this part rests. So once I pull this up and the bottle is flipped in this direction. And the nozzle is up in the air, sand is at the bottom, so it stops dispensing.
As a designer, there are two things that you have to start thinking in parallel. One, it's an unforgiving material. So midway something goes wrong, what's the course correction? Two, it is about the ease and the simplicity of opening the nozzle and closing the nozzle at the right time. Three, going beyond the design of arches, semicircles, and things that are very symmetrical in features, right? Let's take a look at your nozzle. Let's look at the fillers. Let's look at the material that needs as support systems to use that as well. Yeah? Very good.
So my invention is a Rangoli dispenser, which you can make circles, curved lines or dotted lines while standing. You just have to twist the knob so that the stopper aligns with the straight cut. Then you push it down so the bottle will flip and the stand will start falling.
Okay, why don't you take us through your invention?
So my invention is about converting maths from a subject into an experience that you can really get hands-on with. And the idea with the current device is to be able to teach you a couple of things about triangles. It's simple to operate. There are these 4 dots that have been provided, which are used to interact with the device. The rest the device does on its own. All you have to do is place the dots at positions which are marked by the device, and then let the journey take you through itself.